Hey there, Lance with Pool Aid Pros here, and in this video we're going to show you how to replace the pressure gauge on your Jandy cartridge filter. Now, one of the things I really like about Jandy cartridge filters is regardless of the size, that is the filtration square footage, pretty much all but one of the parts are interchangeable among all those late model filter sizes. Really the only thing that changes is the height of this top dome here. So what that means is on all Jandy filters of the late models, the bottom piece, the same across every model. This clamp, the same across every model. And yes, the pressure gauge is the same across every model. So I'm going to put the model number of this pressure gauge up on the screen for you so you can find it. And what we're going to do here, we've got all the equipment turned off, and we're just going to go ahead and get this replaced. Now, one of the nice things about the Jandy pressure gauge here is all you really need is a wrench and your pressure gauge. You don't even need any Teflon tape. There's fresh O-rings all included at every junction. So there's a new O-ring right there and a new O-ring here where it screws into the valve body. So without further ado, what we're going to do is take out the old one and replace it with the new one. Now, if you just have a small set of channel locks, you can use those to remove the body of the pressure gauge. I'm using a 7/8, which is just a hair too big. I don't have a 13/16, which I'm thinking will work because 3/4 is just too small. So, but this 7/8 has just enough to get some bite on it. So what we're going to do is get that started to turn out, and it just comes out nice and easy. There we go. There's our old pressure gauge assembly. These pressure gauges also have a filter bleeder valve on them, which is very handy. And they're serviceable because you can detach the actual pressure gauge from the point where it screws into the filter body. Now, we're going to go ahead and replace the whole thing because, well, the whole thing comes in the packaging, and if we have the new parts, we're going to replace it. So again, you don't need any Teflon tape because there is a fresh O-ring right here. And if the pressure gauge ever starts to leak, instead of trying to add Teflon tape or putting any kind of lube on the O-ring, because all of Jandy's newer model units, they'll say never lube. That is both a model name and a direction. You never put lube on it because if it starts to leak, they just want you to replace the O-ring. They're not very expensive. I mean, even with Jandy's markup, you're talking about $1 or so. So just go ahead and order a new O-ring if that's what you need. So we're going to just snug this up. Don't want to over tighten it. There we go, just nice and snug. And this is what I really like about having this detachable pressure gauge is no matter which way the stem screws into the filter body, you can always direct the pressure gauge in the direction you want it to go. So we've got that nice and tight. All right, and now we're going to test out and see if we have any leaks. All right, so there's no dripping coming from the valve body. And we're gonna go ahead and bleed any air out of the system. That was quick. And now we can see our correct pressure reading. So this one's at about 24 PSI, probably needs to be cleaned soon, which is what I was expecting. The old pressure gauge was still reading about 14 or 15 PSI, and the way that it was behaving, I didn't believe that. So that's how I deduced that the pressure gauge was in need of replacement. Well, I hope you found this video informative and helpful. If you did, please leave a comment and like the video below. We'll see you in the next video.